Hello, today we have an interesting video, a little bit different. Obviously everybody's heard of Chat GPT already. I almost said GDP. No, that's economics. We're doing books today, and I have my laptop here, and we are going to ask Chat GPT to ask us questions about books, and then we're gonna answer them. So, oh, also over here somewhere will be the screen recording of like what Chat GPT is doing. So let's see, what should we ask? What? Can you ask me questions about books? Let's see what it has to say. It's taking a while. Oh wait, here we go. We're getting there. Anyway, it's still thinking about it. Ooh. What is your favorite book of all time and why do you love it? That's what it asked. We need Goodreads for this. I don't think that I have a favorite, like one singular all-time favorite. There are a lot of them I love. I've read some more than others. This one, Kiss of Snow by Nalini Singh, is one of my absolute favorites. It's 10th in a series actually, but it's really good. We have Culty. I really loved A Discovery of Witches. I do really love these YA series, The Cruel Prince and Caraval by Stephanie Garber and Holly Black. These two are, yeah, here's the whole Caraval series. When I was younger, I really loved the Shadow Falls series by C.C. Hunter. It was like a summer camp where like, it wasn't actually a summer camp, but they could live there all the time. And it was supernatural and everybody was like werewolves, vampires, witches, like all those kinds of things. And they all lived at this camp and then they had problems happen to them, of course. And then I also really loved Melanie Dickerson when I was younger. So that's what's on this list. I don't know. This one's good. This one's a sci-fi. Hunt the Stars sci-fi. Off the top of my head, there's not one favorite that comes to mind. So we are asking Chat GPT questions. And we just had an issue. We got the first question in. And then my camera stopped recording. So we're just going to answer the other two questions that were asked but not recorded, and that like Chat GPT asked me but I didn't get on film, on camera, whatever. And then we shall continue. So the first one, well, technically the second one, because the first one was what was your favorite book of all time and why do you love it? And we answered that one with I don't really have one. And then the second one is, if you could be a character from any book, who would you choose to be and why? And I did answer this one, and I believe my answers were either Jude Duarte from the Cruel Prince series, because she's just really cool. She's a very good schemer. Like, she's a really phenomenal planner and like is able to pull one over so many people. And I just would really, really love to live her life for a little bit, plus Carden. Fun fact, the first time I read the Cruel Prince series, my brain did not read Carden as Carden. It read it as Cardigan. So the entire time that character's name to me was Cardigan. Anyway, but I think my top character, like if I could be anyone, I would be Aelin Galathynius from the Throne of Glass series. Also, spoilers, if you have not read this series, like skip like 15 seconds ahead. Anyway, she's just so cool. She's got all this power and like she also schemes great schemes, and it's just, I think it would be really, really fun to be her. I don't know if I would want to be her forever, and I also said the first time I answered this, that I wouldn't necessarily want to be a character in a book other than those two. I would be those two, but I would want to, and it's hard to explain this, I wouldn't want to be a pre-existing character in a book. I would just want to go and live in their world with the characters that are already there, if you know what I mean. Okay, and then the next one was number 3. What book or series had the biggest impact on you and why? And this is the one that I didn't get to answer, but I didn't actually even start answering it. It was just generated. And I think recently I reread the Cruel Prince series, and that pulled me out of a reading slump, and so that one was very good. I think maybe it might not even be like a fantasy or a romance or anything that I normally read. It was, I think one of the ones that had the biggest impact on me was The Kite Runner. Just truly a phenomenal story, and it incorporated so many things that happen in the Middle East and like in those countries that it was just such an interesting read. And that's not something I would have picked out for myself. It was a required summer reading book when I was in high school, but that's one that has always stuck with me as being like really a phenomenal book. So now that we're caught up, let's ask ChatGPT to ask me another question. Please ask me about books. Okay, question 4. Do you have a preferred genre of books? If so, what draws you to that genre, and do you have any specific recommendations within it? Obviously, if you follow me anywhere, TikTok or here, and there's an Instagram, but I don't post on there very often. But if you follow me on TikTok, you know my preferred genre is romance. And I will read fantasy with romance, mixed with romance. I will read fantasy romance, and I will read romance fantasy. There's a slight difference. I would say fantasy romance is a fantasy book with a subplot of romance, and a romance fantasy is like a romance book with a subplot of fantasy. It's like the difference between Throne of Glass series and ACOTAR. I just really love my romance books. What draws me to them? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know what draws me to romance books. I think it's just like they're light, they're fun, like there's nothing, like you don't have to do too much thinking, and they're just really enjoyable to read. Yeah, I'm trying to think what possibly draws me to them, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it. I have 2 specific recommendations. Let me collect the other one that I literally have on hand right here. It's Colty by Mariana Zapata. This is a slow burn sports romance. It's really good. If you haven't read anything by Mariana Zapata, I truly recommend all her books. This is just the only one of hers that I have on hand. And then my second one that I would recommend is this one I literally just read last week in like one day. It's so good. It's it literally says on here, Grumpy Boss Romantic Comedy. It's so true. By a Thread by Lucy Score. Lucy Score is the one who wrote the one, it's a blue cover with daisies. It's like Things We Never Got Over. It's something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that title, so don't quote me on that. But this one, truly a good book. It was sort of a slow burn. I'm pretty sure the characters didn't get together until the end, but Grumpy Boss Romantic Comedy. It was so cute. Yeah, so those are 2 of my specific recommendations that I have this second to give to you. Okay, we're asking, what book questions can you ask me? Oh, they're asking another. Okay. GPT. I always want to say GDP. GDP just comes sooner to me. I'm an econ major. So, this number 5, and I think this might be our last one. We'll see. Maybe we'll go for lucky number 6. How do you typically decide what book to read next? Do you have any specific process or criteria that you follow, or do you go with your intuition or recommendations from others? Anyway, so I typically, like, as most people do, I like read the back of the book of what it's about. Usually I'm not reading the back of an actual book. I'm reading either the description on Goodreads or on the Libby app, which I have connected to my library, and I love the Libby app. I would not read nearly as much if I did not have that. So I mostly just like think about, I will look at books that I've read or go in the down on Goodreads. Let's see if this, on the app Goodreads, let's see if this has it. we'll go to one that I read recently. We'll actually go to this one, which is By a Thread. Usually on the app, it's not, oh wait, yes it is. On the app, you can scroll down and look at, oh yeah, here's the blue book with the daisies, things we never got over. You can scroll down and look at other books by this author. On the app, you can look at readers also liked, and then there's lists featuring this book, which is really nice because then you can find like other books in the same vein if you're like going for that genre right now, like romance or like office romance subgenre, like things like that. So I find that really helpful. And then I do take recommendations, of course, from TikTok. It's hard. Everybody's on about like Fourth Wing right now. Don't know if I don't even know what it's about because nobody has explained what the topic is on TikTok. So I'll have to go read that one at some point, like the description of it. But so sometimes TikTok, or I follow one of my favorite bookstagrammers, like book talkers, booktubers, is Aviva's Library. And I've followed her for like over a year now, I think, and I get a lot of recommendations from her. I think we read very similar books. She reads a little bit more of like dark romance type things than I do, but I will pick up one of those every so often, and then usually after that I switch to a completely different genre. I mostly go with my intuition. Like this one I literally picked up in a bookstore on a whim and then ended up reading it. This one I own because I've read it like 4 times. I think only 3. Like if I get a hold-in from my library, that's usually what I'll read next because I think I get 21 days to read the book. It doesn't take me 21 days once I start, but that's usually how I decide how to read what books next. Okay, so let's see if it'll give us another question. Is there a book that you think everyone should read at least once in their lifetime? If so, what is it and why do you believe it's so important or impactful? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Because everybody has different tastes and different, like I'm sure there are some that nearly everyone like in the United States or in Pennsylvania or wherever, like they all have read one book because it's part of the school system, but I'm not sure if there's one that everyone should read because everybody has different tastes, and like I don't know, if there is one that everyone should read, it would be like some kind of memoir or like some kind of true story book, but off the top of my head I don't know. This is going to be our last one, lucky number 7. Are there any specific authors whose work you always look forward to reading? If so, who are they? What is it about their writing style or storytelling that captivates you? And we all know what I'm going to say. Mariana Zapata. I will always, always, always be a Mariana Zapata romance fan. I think she writes slightly different books. She has quite a few sports romances and like some just other general romances, but she writes slow burns. And so you get a ton of cute moments with the characters, like where they're like talking to each other, arguing with each other, like long before they ever actually like get together. And so it's just so much more fun because you're way more invested in the relationship, and it makes way more sense that it's a slow burn rather than like, I really don't like insta love. I don't like when they're together in like the first chapter or the 3rd chapter. Like it makes no sense to me. I don't get it. So I really, really like Mariana Zapata books, and I haven't yet read Crescent City, but I know Crescent City 3 is coming out next January, I think. So towards the end of this year, I'm gonna read Crescent City 1 and 2, and that way I can like be ready for 3, because I know some spoilers, obviously it's hard not to, but I'm gonna read those, and so I can be ready for when Crescent City 3 by Sarah J. Maas comes out, because I really, really look forward to her books. If she not necessarily, I really just started reading her this year, but I am looking forward to Crescent City 3. We'll put it that way. I didn't like ACOTAR as much as Throne of Glass, and I read Throne of Glass first. I thought Throne of Glass was a much better series. Like, overall, it has, like, more story. Like, I really, honestly, gonna be completely honest, I did not like Feyre, especially not after reading about Aelin Galathynius and all that she can do and how powerful and, like, smart she is. Like, figured was kind of pathetic in comparison, and I literally read the series back to back, and I didn't like ACOTAR as much. But I'm very excited to see if, like, because I know Crescent City 3 is supposed to be some sort of a crossover, so I'm very excited to see if we, like, get some of our Throne of Glass characters in there, which I would be very happy about, because I miss them. I really enjoyed that series the most, I think, of hers. So if she ever's like, oh, I'm publishing another Throne of Glass book, you will catch me literally pre-ordering it as soon as possible. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on TikTok, and it will be linked down in the description. And subscribe if you enjoyed this content. I post on here very sporadically, fair warning. But if you subscribe, you won't get notified all the time that I post it, but when I do eventually post again, you will get notified. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the answers I could give to ChatGPT's, I'm gonna say GDP one of these days instead of GPT. I hope you enjoyed my answers to their questions. So see you next time. Oh, I don't know why I just did that. So see you next time.